to be our mayor, for those of us who live in Minneapolis, Jacob Frey. So, Mayor Frey.
First, can we have a huge round of applause for Mark and Lynn for opening their home to us? Thank you so much. It's a big deal when you have people from the community that are stepping in and not only recognizing the value of ranked choice voting, but also acting on it. Also, our tried and true hero, she works like crazy every single day, Jean Massey, for all the work that she's done for so long. Back, I don't know, 7 years ago, something like that, my wife, Sarah, was one of the, I don't know if it was necessarily the original, but one of the very early staffers on this particular topic for ranked choice voting. And if I was at all in doubt of the value of this particular process, she erased any doubt whatsoever in my mind. Also, I think we're about to hear from our extraordinary Senator Scott Dibble. Where is Scott? There, he's over here. Who not only has been a champion of ranked choice voting, but everything from transportation to marriage equality to affordable housing, you name it. Senator Dibble has been there. That's right. And so I wanted to just talk to you briefly about the value of fair vote and the value of ranked choice voting to, yes, our whole country, but also specifically the city of Minneapolis. We are in a really weird time politically right now. And it's not just the politics of our country, it's also the sociology of how we interact with one another. And we are in the position where everyone is reduced to their individualized bubbles. And each and every one of us are in a bubble. No matter how you break it down, you are in a bubble. It might be a progressive bubble, it might be a pragmatic, forward-thinking bubble, but it is a bubble, nonetheless, every single one of us. And when you are able to pick your own friends, and pick your own news sources, and pick what to see and what to read and what to believe and what to not and who not to interact with, it shapes our society. And then on top of that, when you have a political system and a voting structure that literally incentivizes candidates to appeal not to everyone, but to their specific base, you get even further alienated. You see the polarization rise, and you get less stuff done that quite simply benefits people. And at the end of the day, that's what government should be about. It should be about, quite simply, improving people's lives. And we've all seen the polarization at the federal level. Senator Dibble has seen the polarization at the state level. And when it's just a position that you oftentimes see for the sake of not senators so thoughtful and in figuring out how to get things done that improve people's lives, yes, but also digging in on each individualized issue. You're not incentivized to do that at all, right? It's just kind of to take a stance, to put some rhetoric out on social media, and then kind of the rest takes care of itself. And I saw that, and I'm going to get to the point here in a second. I saw that in a huge way about a month ago with the visit from the President of the United States. And and it's just funny how the incentive structure changes on the federal level versus in Minneapolis. Whereas in Minneapolis, I get credit for filling someone's pothole. If someone says, hey, fill that pothole, and I fill it, they say, great job. We get credit when we put up an affordable housing projects that gives people a safe place to go home to at the end of the night, to rest their head on the pillow and to rejuvenate for the next day. There is an inverse incentive at the federal level. You don't necessarily get credit for doing something, you get credit for being somebody. You don't get credit for doing right by constituents, you get credit for having like a really clever, witty tweet. And it's frustrating in that I work my tail off every day to do these very basic services in the city of Minneapolis and do things that I know are right and my constituents want to see. Affordable housing, and police community relations and environmental sustainability and all of these different issues that I work my tail off every day, and for the most part to no acclaim. Hours and hours, weeks and weeks, months and months on these topics. Now I spent 2 minutes thinking of a clever tweet. And the whole world lights on fire, And that's not the incentive that you were looking for. And here's the point. Ranked choice voting requires you to think beyond the basics. It requires candidates to think beyond the simplistic message that will galvanize a base and incentivizes you to think about solutions that, yes, can practically be implemented, but also solutions that will work. And this is especially important I can say, at the city level. At the city level, it's not like the traditional left-right spectrum. The old Fiorello LaGuardia quote is, "There's no Democratic or Republican way to plow the snow." I think he said, "Pick up the trash," but in Minneapolis we say, "Plow the snow." Same kind of idea, St. Paul, maybe you say, "Pick up the trash." But when you don't have that kind of traditional left-right spectrum, you want to have a system that is about the issues. You also want to have a system in place that incentivizes candidates and then ultimately elected officials to work with one another. This does that. You want to have a system that's in place where people can kind of reach across either party lines or ideological lines. This does that. And then finally, you want to have a system in place where you feel comfortable rooting and then supporting a candidate who might seemingly have no chance whatsoever in an election. I'm a tried and true DFLer. But if you want to support the green person or the libertarian person or the socialist candidate, you should be able to do that. And you should be able to do that with the confidence knowing that you're not throwing your vote away. And then you can vote for the person who's maybe second best next. Exactly, which is what I would hope you would say for the second choice. And that is it's a paradigm shift of mentality, and I believe that having that paradigm shift of mentality and sociology will then create that paradigm shift in the way our city and then ultimately our state and country reacts and practices. And so this matters. This is one obvious solution to the really destructive dynamic that we're in right now, and it's something that's worth supporting. So I just appreciate all of you coming out on a night like tonight to support a cause that is worthwhile, that I am 150% behind, and I want to thank Fair Vote for all the incredible work they're doing. You are worth the support, and we are with you entirely. Thank you so much.